What is up, you guys? I want to make sure my mic is on because I have PTSD because I attempted to film a video a couple days ago and there was no sound. So little nervous, little bit of PTSD, but I'm here. We are doing another episode of There's Room to Bloom. I know it's been a minute. And if this is your first time seeing me, girl, it's been a minute. I haven't been back here in months, since like maybe April or May. No, May. However, the topic that I wanted to talk about is, what does it look like to forgive? This has been on my mind for a very long time, truly, because I wanted to come to YouTube and talk about this. However, I felt like if I'm coming to YouTube to talk about a topic, I better have my ducks in a row, right? And I better be coming with facts. But when we're talking about emotions, we can't always be super logical and factual when it comes to this, because our emotions can be so complex, you know? And I want to talk about this because, especially as a Black woman, and what I notice in the Black community is that we like to put a lot of stuff under the rug, and we like to hold a lot of things in and claim that it's resilient and that we are strong, when truly it is eating us away day by day. So having a space where we can talk and be vulnerable is what I want to do. And in today's conversation, it's not so much a lesson, unless you want to look at it as that, but it's truly a conversation. I am learning. It's my first time here, just like you. I bleed just like you. I cry just like you. You know, I'm getting a little thirsty just like you. So I want this to be a space of vulnerability and honesty, you know? And I think you can't be vulnerable if you're not honest. Also, do not mind me in my swirly chair. I got this a couple days ago and I'm having a blast. Okay? But let's get into it, okay? And please excuse me leaning back. I'm comfortable. Can I be comfortable when I talk about this? Thank you. So, forgiveness. And why I feel like I have such a polarizing view on forgiveness, because there are so many different ways to look at it, right? I'm a Christian, however, I am human. And I want to say that I'm a Christian because I'm trying to live a life where I'm leading in love, right? However, I am human, so that doesn't mean I always do everything right. Not saying I want anything to happen to anybody. I'm out here plying on people. No. Not doing any of that. But if you get me tight, I'm probably not going to be like, thank you so much. Hit me again. No, I may, like, it may be the right day for you, you know? So I just want to say that I am a human being just like you, but I will be leading this conversation. Like, we probably will somehow, some way get back to Jesus. Okay. So with forgiveness, there are so many different avenues you can go down. There's one avenue where it's forgive and forget. There's another avenue where it's forgive and never forget. And another one where it's, I forgive you, but I'm going to keep you at a distance. Like, I don't want you in my life anymore, right? And I think that depending on the situation, I am all of them. And sometimes I think it's wrong of me to be all of them, because it's like, if you forgive them, aren't you supposed to go back to what your old relationship was if you forgive them? You know? And I say this because there was a time I was with my mom and let's just say my brother. It wasn't my brother, but just for the story's sake, we're gonna say my brother. So let's say me and my brother get into it, right? And me and my brother get into it, and let's say me and my brother are hanging out with our mother, and my mother can tell that I'm like not as lively and outspoken and just flamboyant as I usually am. And my brother goes to the bathroom and my mom says to me, do you forgive Dion? And I'm like, yeah, I forgive Dion. Like, why are you asking? And she's like, well, you're not acting like it, you know? But does my forgiveness have to be based off of how I show up in a room with you after you hurt me? Like, I don't think that once you say I'm sorry means that I'm supposed to automatically jump back into whatever version of myself was present before you hurt me, right? Because truly, I didn't even want to. Me being distant is me protecting myself, right? I think we can all say that. Like, and there was a conversation that I listened to the other day, slightly off a topic, but it said, "Are you an introvert or are you just protecting yourself based off of the experiences that you've had in the past to make you feel that you had to guard yourself, right?" So why does "I'm sorry" mean that I no longer have to guard myself after you hurt me? Like, depending on whatever the situation was, the severity of the act, of course, there are going to be different levels of, I guess, that protection. But I don't think it's the person's, even my mom, I don't think it was her right to be like, "Oh, well, why aren't you acting like it?" Then, like, what does that look like, And that's why I'm saying, like, what does forgiveness look like? Because when she said that to me, I'm like, damn, like, I forgive you, but I'm still hurt from this. And I want to honor the fact that I'm hurt. It's not like I'm treating you nasty. I'm not, when you speak, I respond. When but you can tell it's not the same Nigeria that is showing up right now. And I think that that's something that bothers a lot of people, especially the people that are doing the act, because if they apologize, they expect to have the same type of access to you as they had in the past, but you don't get to hurt me and then dictate how I show up. And also, there's a conversation of how many times am I going to allow this versus why am I still allowing this? And I find that interesting. Because let's just take a romantic relationship and a friendship. Let's say there's a friend that you have that you love. And truly, I think that a lot of friendship breakups may hurt a little more than romantic breakups, because it depends. But we're not going to get into that because that's a different video for another day. Let's say that your friend may do something over and over and over again and you forgive them because you're like, they're human. I love them. This is my friend since like diapers, right? Let's say you have a partner and they do maybe 2 things that you don't like, you cut them off. Like, what is the scale that measures when and why you should cut someone off or distance yourself, etc.? And I think for a lot of us lovers, people that truly love and care about the ones that are around us, I feel like we get hit the hardest for real. And then when we leave, to some it's so shocking, because we're so used to putting up with so much crap that people are surprised when we're like, like, I'm done with this. And truly, hold on, y'all see I'm talking. Basically, I was saying it could be shocking because a person like me, I'm not someone that's going to make a big deal out of you hurting me. I may address it one time, and if you do it again, I'm just going to leave you alone. Like, hold on, let this ambulance go by. Like, I'm not someone who needs to give you a long-winded speech about how I'm no longer dealing with you. Like, I'm just going to leave you alone. That's it. Like, I do an Irish goodbye. And I used to think that was toxic because I wouldn't explain to people how they hurt me. But sometimes people want you to acknowledge that you hurt them. So they could be like, yeah, like, I really got under that girl's skin. Like, I really got under that guy's skin. But I think that as humans, we aren't as complex. Like, we are complex, but I don't think we are as complex as some make it out to be. I think that a lot of us know what we are doing. And since a lot of us know what we are doing, because truly the person who, unless you're a different breed, but the main person that I am focused on in this life is myself. I'm not saying that I don't care about my mom, my dad, but like, I'm thinking about what I'm doing, my actions, what I'm eating, I'm thinking about me, right? So if I'm thinking about me with another person, I know how I'm interacting with that other person. Even when, okay, I had a coworker and she told me like her son loves insects, loves bugs, so just pick up a bug and like want to keep him, whatever, right? So I made a joke because it's the summertime. You see like water bugs and stuff. I made a joke. I was like, God forbid he sees a water bug and wants to keep it as a pet. She paused in her reaction, and in her pause and in the reaction, I was like, okay, maybe she thinks like I'm saying like her home is dirty. Like, okay, note to self, don't say this to her. Like, don't make jokes about bugs. Like, even though I felt like that was like the Like it was a safe joke because we were literally talking about bugs and how your son likes bugs. Doesn't matter the bug, he's just gonna pick it up. So I didn't want to offend her, but it seemed like I did offend her. We continued the conversation, but I'm just saying that to say like, okay, I'm constantly thinking about how I affect other people and like the words that I use to different individuals. So I know, okay, based off of their reaction, I'm not going to say this to them, or I am going to say this to them, vice versa, right? So I feel like people know what they're doing. And with me believing that people know what they're doing, I don't give too much grace as we get older, because I don't want anyone around me that thinks that doing or saying a certain thing is okay, you know? But yes, you guys, tell me what you guys think. I love you guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.